Hi guys, this is Paula. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a different flip or take on the Santa Claus trifold that I did. It was at one of the first 5 videos. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can. It was where we took 2 bases, 2 greeting cards, blank greeting cards, put them together in the middle and made them come out like this, and we glued the inside like this so we could have a tag. Okay, well, I was inspired by Tracy Fox. Hi Tracy. She did a trifold and then brought a flap down and had a flap at the top. So I thought, why could I not take my old way of doing it and her way, part of her way of doing it, put them together and they would be real similar. So I took and measured across here, which was 4 1/4. Across the card is 4 1/4. So this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. Okay, so I took a 12 by 12 page and I cut it one strip of 4 1/4. Super simple. Now you can pre-score these or you can do it like I'm about to show you. It's easier to score this way unless you decide what you want your measurements to be. In other words, if you don't want a flap at the top, you could make the flap at the bottom as big as 5 1/2 inches. But I want a flap at the top, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is one that I did for the deer book that I'm working on. And so I decorated the front, and I used this die cut here to hold my flap down. And I've got a flap right here. And then it flips out. And I'll tell you right now, I used too much paper. You only need 1 layer of paper or it's going to feel too heavy. I mean, it turned out, but it's just, it would be better if it wasn't so thick. And then that flaps out. And, you know, I would cover my flap for sure to make it stronger on the outside and inside because it doesn't get journaled on. But as far as the other goes, I would just ink it and make it where it's, you could like decorate it or doodle around it or do something, you know, to make it where you can journal. I didn't do the back because I'm going to adhere it to a page or the back cover or something of the book. And then it goes right in the flap. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we're going to make here with 2 envelopes that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 12. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to take 1 card and set it aside. I'm going to take this card, this one we have left, hold it on with your left hand and put it underneath your 12 by 12 by 4 1/4 paper. Now, I've already folded mine, but I want to show you the easy way to do this. You're going to shove your paper up as much as you can right here, and then just close it. Okay? You want to make sure that the 12-inch paper is as far in as it can be. Okay? And then you're going to take your paper, bring it up, and score it perfectly even with your greeting card. Okay, there you go. Now you've got your flap, and now you've got the flap that pulls down. I hope this makes sense. Okay, now we're going to fold this one back open because we're going to bring in the sister. The sister that goes with the brother. And this is going to go underneath, I'm sorry, this is going to go on top of this. Okay, so what we'll do is when we glue this, we'll take the sister away again, the one on the left, on the right, I mean. We'll take her away and we'll glue this in. But we just want to make sure everything is fitting. Like, I'm sorry, should have put the bottom flap in first. We want to make sure everything is like it should be. Okay, and everything fits like it should fit. Because if it doesn't, you need to score it to fit like it should. Like this little flap, you know, it wants to kind of be the difficult one in the group. Okay, now, here we go. Whenever you glue, we're going to take the sister away again. Whenever you glue the 12-inch strip, by 12-inch by 4 1/4 strip, onto the left card, or brother card, you want to make sure that while you have the opportunity to move this 12-inch paper, you get it perfect. Okay, so I'm going to try to have it, I haven't moved it, so I'm going to try to keep it as still as I can and just raise an edge and stick it under there and see how it goes. So just hold on to that card, get your Fabri-Tac, and remember that Fabri-Tac does give you a little bit of time, so I would say work fast, but I would also say you've got a little bit of time. So just drop this part down, smooth it out. Now hold on to it well, and then we'll do the other side. Only now would my glue decide to be slow. Stupid glue. Stupid glue. Okay, now smooth it out real quick. Fold over. Bring this one over. Bring sister over. Put her in there. Fold this up. The whole time you're pushing in and bouncing up and down to make sure everything is like it needs to be. Make sure your flap will fold over. And it looks like it does. Okay, I bent my flap a little bit, but that's okay. So now it appears everything is glued in correctly. So this is glued on. Now, if you want to, you can still have that top pocket because we glued this on top of the brother card. And when we glue it onto the sister card, we can just put glue on the two sides and the lower portion. So let's try that. Now, I'm going to do it on this portion up here because I just think it'd be easier to get it as straight as possible. Now, when I say you can put a card here, I mean like maybe a skinny card. I wouldn't try to put a giant tag. I mean tag, not card. I think you guys knew what I meant. Okay, now this is going to be glued to this one. And so, you know, I would suggest you put it up beside it like this. And then just let it drop over it. And try not to have to move it any more than necessary so that it lines up like it's supposed to. Fold it over, make sure everything's lining up. Got some glue right here, so let me get it. I guess even trying not to, I got glue on it. I deliberately did not glue too close to the edges, so I wouldn't have to deal with glue during this video, but what can I say? I guess when I did the back for the tag, it gave me a little bit of glue. So I'm just going to get that off real quick because I don't want it to glue together. But you want to avoid this if you can because you don't want anything sticking together. But I'm going to real quickly make sure that the Fabri-Tac is gluing like it's supposed to, and you want to check all your cracks, like right there's a little bit of glue. So fold in, fold the left end, fold the right end, fold the flap over, and it's correct. So now we need to get the glue off of it before I glue it together here. And there's some glue on the table. Okay, so let's flip it open and go back where we were to get that glue off. And which I almost had it off anyway. Now, if you don't want your flap to be rectangle like I didn't want mine to be pointed like the other one I did, because I'm not that crazy about it. So I'm just going to round the corners. But you can do whatever you would like, or however you would like. You can make the flap by just finding your center and cutting from the center to the ends. You just can just play with it because it's fun. I've been playing with it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's different. And I was inspired to do this by Tracy Fox. She did all of hers with cardstock, but it turned out really cool. But I didn't take mine as far as this when I did it that first 5 weeks, or first 5 videos on my channel, because I was a newbie and I didn't think to do that, you know. It was like, it never occurred to me that I could do all these flaps this way and that way and like it like I did. So, yeah. I got to find something to dry this off right here. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm glad you were able to come back and create with me again. I'm still trying to get the glue off. Now, it was right there. Maybe I was on the wrong section. Right there, some. So you just want to make sure all the glue's off so that when you close it and it stays closed for a while, that, you know, like right there is a bunch of glue. I'm sure that came off the table. I tell you, my table's the pits. I think for my birthday, I'm going to get a Tim Holtz glass pad. I know that people don't like them because they're noisy, but I don't, you know, I'll just have to work around it, because I think, you know, if you don't lay your scissors on there, I would think it'd be okay. Because paper doesn't really make a lot of noise, and it really, as a crafter, it would really, I think, be better than anything that's out there. And you can mix your mixed media on it, you can put your paint on it, you can put your ink on it, everything wipes off. The only thing you can't do is put heat on it like an iron. And you can't, what else was it? I can't remember, but maybe that was the only thing. You can cut on it, I know. But anyway, there we go. So we have a trifold with an extra bottom flip out. And listen, you can take this even further. You could hinge it and bring it out, which... let's see if we can do that. I mean, why not? We have another couple inches that are, you know, or we could just hinge it. How about we hinge it about like that? Since I have this piece of paper. Oh, it's shorter. Let me see if I have a wider piece. That one's short too. Well, let's just see about this. Okay. We can just cut this to 4 1/4. Now, we don't have to have it be, super long. You know, maybe just the same size as the one that we have here, which I don't know what that measures. Let me just see here. Let me get my ruler. So we need to cut... we've got the 4 1/4 width. We need to cut 4 1/4 height also. So let's cut this at 4 1/4, and then we'll hinge it. I suggest if you do this, you hinge it with the same paper. So I'm going to do, usually I hinge with an inch. So I'm going to do an inch. See if that's good enough. If it's not, we'll go back with something bigger. Okay. See, I love this part of creating together because, you know, we're coming up with this as we're doing it. And so this would be folded in. So probably we don't want to like hinge it to be in that way and come back out this way. Or do we? Or do we want to hinge it so when you pull it out, it comes out kind of like accordion? I think I like that idea. Now, it's going to be too long for that, which is how, I don't know how that happened. Oh, I know how that happened. It happened because the rest of this is tucked under. So if we put the hinge under here, let me think, I'm thinking, or we can put the hinge here and let it fold out. I think that's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and cut just 1/4 of an inch off, because otherwise it'd just be bulky, and I might go just slightly more than 1/4 of an inch, just barely. And that way it won't get all folded up in there and be a problem. So I cut the wrong side, and how's that even possible? Oh, because it has to be a perfect, oh my goodness, good grief. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Okay, this is how you learn, by, you know, making mistakes. Let's see if this will work. I might have to cut a whole new sheet. Yeah, see, for some reason, it's not coming out like, so I'm going to cut another one. And I said 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, so I'm going to go just like a little bit smaller than that. We'll play it by ear. If this doesn't work, then it's not meant to be, I guess. Let's see. Perfect. Hello. Okay. So, let me move my cutter. We're going to fold the hinge in half. I don't know if you've ever hinged or not, but this is how you do it. If you're doing hinging with your tea stain paper, you use tea stain paper. I use tea stain paper with most things. But I thought, since this would be seen and written on, it would look nicer if it was hinged different. We just want to make sure that when the book is closed, that this hinged portion is not sticking out the bottom. So, but also that when we pull it, we don't, that's why I'm going to just barely trim it and hope I get it straight. This is what you call risky, right there. I like to do risky things. Okay, I'm going to put it down on the hinged end, but I just want it a little bit shorter just so that we have plenty of space. Yeah, and that is so crooked. Here, let me see if I can fix it. I always think, oh, I can just trim that off, and I'm not kidding you. Before you know it, 4 inches is 1 inch, because it takes you that long to figure out, to get the cutter out. Okay. All right. We'll make that be good. All right. Now, the thing is now when you hinge, when we bring this out, it's not going to be hinged on the top. It's only going to be hinged under here. So what did I do with my hinge? Okay, now I want to trim it also because it is going to be a little bit long. See if I can do this straight. Okay, now I'm thinking, trying to look for the crooked portion, but now it's actually straight. Okay, I'm thinking what's the best way to do this. So it's open here, and we want to open it some more, so we can do it like this, and then it will fold in here and then fold in again. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to put the hinge right here. Okay. Going to hinge where the opening part of the 1 inch is to the outside, and hope that this is right. It's called being brave. It's just paper. It's what I tell myself all the time. It's just paper, unless it's your only sheet, and then it's your only sheet. Can you guys see? Okay. You want to put this, butt this up to the edge, all the way to the edge of the paper, and hold it down, smooth it out, because you'll probably get glue leaking out just because, you know, it does. Okay, now we'll take this portion and we will, see there's glue right there. Dang it, this thing's crazy. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let me get my eraser. That'll be good enough for period. This thing is like a miracle worker with Fabri-Tac. I'll just tell you right now. Nothing is going to stick once you erase it off with this. But you do have to use it while the Fabri-Tac is like half dried. I think it works better at that point. Okay, now we've got our hinge on there. And so we're going to take our paper that we cut to come out. Let me make sure I've got the right direction, because okay, one side's a little bit smaller than the other, I think. Maybe it was this side. Yeah. You want to line it up on both sides right here when you put it down. So just remember that. Keep it in the position you need it to be in. Glue. Put your glue on your hinge. Try not to get it too close to the edge if possible. It's not that possible, but okay. Now, line up your paper, and you do want to make sure they're all lined up with each other on the hinge part, or what some people would call the binding part, where you bind them together. This paper isn't perfectly cut because my cutter is not perfect right now, but this will give us an idea. And I'll show you what I mean. See how that's lined up? But it's also lined up on the sides, not perfect because my cutter's not cutting perfect, but it's real close. As long as it's inside and not outside, you should have no problems. Okay, now we're going to see if there's any glue dripping out. Yeah, there's a little bit right there. Get that off. And you'll want to trim any excess of the hinge. Any excess paper of the hinge off, because goodness, we didn't get any glue back there. What's up with that? So when I say excess, I mean like anything hanging over. You just want to even it up. So I'm going to even that up. And that's actually the paper that's just barely hanging over. And then on this side, you want to even it up. If I can get it straight now. You know how that goes, right? The thing is it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to notice if it's slightly, you know, wavy or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I suggest that at this point, if you want to round your corners, you round the corners you want to round. I think because I didn't like the point, whoops, I didn't get that right, did I? I'm going to round my flap. Now let's close it all the way up and see what we've got at the end. Smooth so far. Smooth so far. Smooth. And your flap is, it's gonna bring your flap up a little bit, depending on how much thickness you have here. So that's why the flap's gonna have a little bit of a rounded look, and that's why we have to put some kind of stopper here. And I don't know yet. Probably it will depend on what book I use this on. I'm going to use it on my next Christmas book, which is going to be really cute. Okay, now, if you decide you want to slide this into a pocket or slide it into the book and attach it with a clip, you still have a place for a tag in the back. So I'm going to show you right here is a place for a tag. So you're going to slide this down in there. Try to center it the best you can. I know it's hard from that direction. And there you go. Now you've got a tab. This is slightly elevated right here. But I mean, you could pick it to death. You know what I'm saying? It would be one of those things that would be real easy to pick to death. You know, oh, I got this off. But it's not that big a deal. I'm just going to trim it though. Watch me. I'm trimming it because it's bugging me. But overall for our first one, wasn't bad. Okay, so we'll decorate this whenever I do the next book, because white's not going to be what we need for this one. I want to show you real quick. Let me see how much time we've got. We've got time. What I've worked on since our last video. We were doing embellishments on that last video, and I want to show you what I've done. Some of the things I've done. Because we ran out of time and there's no way we could ever do them all in one video. But let me move this to the side. Okay, so I just did, this is that glassine bag that I got at Tattered Dreams. And I just put this paper on, and then I put this paper at the bottom and made a pocket out of it and just covered one of the journaling cards. And so it could be journaled on. Put a little reef down here at the bottom and made a little pocket for that. And then I made a big tag that, you know, is the length. And on this one, I used the same gray journaling card. There was two that were similar, and I put this paper on the background. Put this in like a pocket. Did a mini tag. See, if you look, there's some room here on the string where you can take the little mini tag and put it in the pocket. If I can get my hands to work. Is that not cute? I thought it turned out cute. Or you can let it dangle, whichever one you want. I think I would send it to the person in the pocket, and, you know, then they could pull it out. But I thought that turned out cute. And then just put it in the bag. And I'm thinking that Tracy Fox also It was before my YouTube years. And I think even before I was doing junk journals, she did something similar to that, where they dangle. Okay. Of course, I did a hanky, vintage hanky, and then this is a inventory tag, and we did this in the last video, so I'm not going to go into it much. I just punched out triangles and a star and made a tree. Covered a tag with a wreath. Did a library card. I fussy cut out the gift packages off of a journaling card, put muslin and this gold paper behind it, popped up a little snowflake, put the cork Merry Christmas there, and you have a journaling card or a library card inside here. Here is a coin pocket, and I just did something very simple. Just put a tree inside, trees on the outside. This is a reindeer from one of my early YouTube. It's a trifold, and it also has a pocket with a journaling card. And since we're doing reindeer, I wanted to throw that in. Here's a vintage card that goes way back, but it has a red coach drawn by horses. And I thought, since, you know, this paper has the red car carrying Christmas tree, and see there's a Christmas tree on the back of the coach. So I thought that was kind of cool. Let me get the rest of my stuff here. Here's a gold and white tag with Santa and the reindeer. Here's a tag with just Santa and some doodling. Here is what I've done in every one. A vintage Santa card. Just a tag with that cute paper. I liked it, and I just wanted to use it as a tag. December checklist, which I think that is awesome for a December daily book, which is basically what this is. Okay, and trim the tree on the front of this mini card. We pull it out, and then there's packages inside. Just a index card. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Here is a card that says kindness. Who else is more kind than Santa? And then it has a journaling card, index card inside. Here's a pocket that has one of the decoupaged that we did tags early on. And I just put a few things on there. Here's a snowflake tag. Simple little tags. Some of them are very simple with a wreath. Here's a clothesline of Santa's clothes hung out to be washed. And we've done this before, only we shaped it different. I fussy cut these trees to decorate the front. Did a little snowflake here. This folds out. And it has a little pocket down here with two little mini tags, and it has paper up here. Just a little Santa, and just a little Santa camera snapping a picture of Santa. We didn't add the little pocket the last time, so that's what's different. And fold that up and close it. So we have a few minutes. Maybe we can see what we can come up with. I also have, let me move these. I also have some other things over here. This time card book, but I think this is a video by itself because it would be time consuming, but I'm going to be thinking what we can do with this, whether it's for this book or the next book. It may very well be the next book because I have some beautiful papers that we could use on this. Okay, now I'm going to pull out just a stack of stuff that I pulled out to use on this. On this book. Here's a little index card that's been tea stained. It can be folded, or I decorate them just like this. I like to do them with just that plain look. But I want to show you while we're sitting here. This is a card from Walmart. It's one of those bases to a card that you get at Walmart. And I got it a little wet, it looks like, so I have to be careful. I take these and turn them into pockets. Now, I've got to stop and think about how I do that. I actually have one over here somewhere. I think. Maybe not. I know I did. I saw it just a second ago. Oh, there it is. This is a pocket here that I made out of one of these cards. So what you do is you lay it out like this. You want to make sure this is going to be your front because you want the cards to be in the right direction. See, or does it matter? Yeah, because this is going to be the opening. So what I did is I just took my ruler, or you can take your cutter, and we'll have, yeah, we do have to cut it apart, it looks like. So I'm thinking, how did I do that before? I'm looking here so I can see. I just took it and I hinged it, but I hinged it different. So I know what I did now, I think. We'll see. Because there's no way I could have, I had to do it like this. I took it and I cut it like this, where the front, you've got to have a hinge on each side, okay? And I say, let's line it up with our grid on the table. And let's see, I want to make sure my T-ruler is straight. It looks as straight as it's going to get. And I'm just going to use my cutting knife. So let's see if I don't foul this up. If I do, it's not a big deal. It won't be the first time I've fouled something up. Okay, so we want to not have, I'm thinking, I know I've done this, but how did I get it upright? I must have ended up cutting it in half first. Let's cut it in half first. Let me line it up. There would be no other way to do it because it wouldn't be straight if we didn't cut it in half. Do you see what I'm saying? Why is that? Let's line that line up. Okay. This is crooked. It's because I'm not real good with the blade. The thing to remember about using a blade like this is don't push too hard. Go over it more than one time before you put too much pressure because it will move the ruler or move the paper. Just kind of a little heads up there. Okay, so you can let this have the hinge or you can let the back have the hinge. And so this is going to be our back, but I need to even up. I need to straighten this part up right here because it's kind of yucky. Okay, so we'll trim that off. And then, see my blade just moved my paper because I went too hard on it. Let's try that again. See, when you slow down, and this is what gets everybody with the blade, is getting in too big of a hurry, and I'm the world's worst at doing that. Okay, so we're going to make, let's flip it over to this side. We're going to make hinges on each side of this. And let's just do a ½ inch. This is why I love my T-ruler. You just can't go wrong with the T-ruler. And I'm thinking that we'll hinge the whole thing. Yep. Okay. Which means we need our score. Instead of doing a scoreboard, I'm going to pull this out and we can score it on the trimmer. Should have had the trimmer out to start with. But see, you wouldn't have been able to see my grand knife skills. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to score it at a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, so flip it over, score it on the other side at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then you want to look over here and you want to score it at a 1/2 inch on the portion that, I'm just thinking out loud. Let me think for a second. No. This should have been the front. And it still can be. And I'll tell you why. Because if we scored it here with this red strip, when we fold it over and fold it up in front of the pocket, where's the pocket? Oh no, it will go into the back of the pocket. So that should be okay then. It's been a long time since I've made these. Because the front, okay, well let's just try it and see. I may flub this up, guys. If I do, we'll go ahead and make it. I mean, you can't go wrong. We'll just ignore that there's a stripe on it for now. Okay, so we're going to score it over. But then we're going to have to do some trimming. But I thought we'd score it first before we trim. Okay, get your scissors. All right, now, let me make sure you can see. I'm going to go right here, just outside of the score line, and cut down. And down here, just outside of the square corner, just going to go straight across. And the same on this side. You can make just about anything once you learn how to hinge. Okay, so there we go. Look how cute that is. Now, you could make that be your pocket if you were going to glue it down and just glue it by the hinges. But I ended up wanting it to be decorated on both sides because I might not want to attach it to a page. I may want to just slip it into a pocket. So, you turn this face down, and we're going to cut it at the same size as the one that's hinged and ready to go. And let's see, which is going to be 4.5 inches. So, and we want to, we can leave it tall in the back. If you knew you were going to glue it onto a page, you could turn it this way and you'd be able to see the cards at the top. Which I kind of like that. I've not ever made one like that, so let's do it that way. And then just want to make sure everything's square, because you're going to glue from your hinges onto this. Okay? But I think I am going to go back and do it the other way because it's more useful. You can use it either way. And I like the thought of that. Okay, so let me move this. I'm gonna round my corners. You want to make sure. Oh, wrong one. That's called just reaching in there and grabbing it. It's because I'm so used to just reaching in and grabbing my punch, my corner rounder, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. And after we do this, we will have to say goodbye. Till next time. It's like our crafting time goes so fast. Just a little bit. Doesn't take a whole lot, Paula. I have to tell myself that every time. Doesn't take that much, Paula. Okay, so you want to hold these. Well, actually, I think it'd be easier to lay it down like this and do it. Then you can kind of take the corners. I hope you guys can see. So my battery came up and made some crazy noises. So anyway, I put the glue on there. It wasn't going to let me finish recording, but I'm going to do it real quick because I'm losing battery. I just put glue on the hinges and attached it to the back portion. And now we have it. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go before we lose battery. I hope you had fun today. I always have fun. And I miss you guys when I can't do a video. I hope you craft along. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. If you could give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We do fun stuff. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.